Straight ahead on CCX News, a Brooklyn Park resident who says enough is enough.
What really gets my attention is the excessive speed of 50 to 60 miles per hour.
Where he wants to get people to slow down. Plus, a visit to Plymouth where you can expect the unexpected.
I like to surprise people. I like to put a smile on people's face, and so far that's what the Treehouse does.
And later, why the Super Bowl is top of mind for a Brooklyn Park restaurant. CCX News starts right now. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. Chances are you've noticed someone driving a little too fast down your neighborhood street.
One Brooklyn Park man says it happens all too often in his neighborhood. Reporter Shannon Slatton explains how the city is cracking down on speeders along West River Road.
I think we've got a speeding problem here on West River Road.
Cautious is how you would describe Brian Kale when he sets out to walk his dogs on the path that runs parallel to West River Road.
Not only watching both ways before and as I cross, but I'm also listening to hear the sound of engines.
It's practically a blind intersection near his home, and he believes drivers are not treating this road like a residential street.
I think that we've got a minority of people that are treating West River Road like a highway. And I've been seeing almost on a daily basis speeding in the excess of 50 to 60 miles per hour. We also have, for example, we have a lot of bikers. Hi, guys.
The speed limit is 30 miles per hour on West River Road, but Kale believes some drivers are going much faster than that. He has taken his concern to the city of Brooklyn Park.
What's the cost of someone losing their life, or what's the cost of someone being in an accident and being paralyzed?
Brooklyn Park police say a speed study does reveal speeding happens on West River Road, but they say it's sporadic at best. However, police have stepped up patrols and increased enforcement in the area. There's not a long-term solution as of now, so this resident has one request for drivers attempting to speed down his neighborhood street.
Just slow down, and this is a residential area. This is not a highway. This is a residential area.
In Brooklyn Park, Shannon Slatton, CCX News.
Portable radar signs have been used on West River Road in the past. A permanent flashing radar sign costs around $20,000, and as of right now, that is not considered a cost-effective solution.
A woman accused of leading police on a chase that ended in Brooklyn Center last Sunday is now charged. Shyla Johnson is accused of fleeing police with their lights and sirens on for more than 7 miles. The chase, seen here in MnDOT video, first started in Minneapolis before making its way onto Highway 252 in Brooklyn Center. The chase then entered Brooklyn Center city streets, with Johnson accused of running red lights and stop signs. It ended on an entrance ramp off Brooklyn Boulevard to eastbound I-94. That's when the State Patrol got the suspect to spin out. At one point, the criminal complaint says Johnson was traveling more than 80 miles per hour in a 50-mile-per-hour construction zone. Upon her arrest, police recovered marijuana from Johnson's vehicle, and she is charged with 1 count of fleeing police.
A Brooklyn Park man is among 4 people sentenced to prison in a meth distribution ring. Ernesto Montez was sentenced to 5 years in prison for his role in the drug crimes. Montez was arrested traveling from the Leech Lake Indian Reservation. The traffic stop led law enforcement to a wooded area where officers seized more than 1,400 grams of meth, more than 3 pounds of marijuana, and $5,000 in cash.
As Crystal works to redesign Becker Park, water quality experts are working on plans for what goes under the park. A $2.5 million project to collect rain runoff from 150 surrounding acres will be built underneath Becker Park. It's a system of pipes and a tank that could hold up to 1 million gallons. The city officials say that would help solve occasional flooding on Bass Lake Road and help reduce pollution flowing into Upper Twin Lake. The lake now has double the state's standard for phosphorus.
The city's committed to doing this project not only because it helps improve water quality, helps us to address some of the localized street flooding we see in the area, and also really is part of a bigger envisioning process for the future of Becker Park. So there's a lot of different stakeholders involved in the project, and the benefits are going to reach everybody.
Installation of the system will begin in about 2 years. That's about the same time that updates to Becker Park will be going in.
40 years ago, the nonprofit Cross was started to provide food to families in need in Maple Grove, Osseo, Rogers, and beyond. Now, Cross is serving more people than ever, but in different ways.
About 2,000 people a month come here for food, but the other 3,000, 4,000 we're bringing food out to them, out into the community. So that's a big change in our service delivery, in that the transportation has become so difficult and the food needs have grown.
July is typically a tough month for financial donations. It's why there's a challenge underway for local food shelves to raise the most funds during July and receive a $5,000 grant. Cross is trying to get the word out about the challenge, but the organization also provides other services too, such as housing support.
To help people stay in their homes, rents, mortgage support, things like that, but also to build beds and to provide mattresses and blankets and sheets and teddy bears and books, things like that for little children in our community that don't have a bed.
The upcoming bed races during Maple Grove Days helps raise money for Cross's housing program. If you are interested, teams of bed racers are needed for that upcoming July 15th event. When you move into a new home, it's common to put your stamp on the property to truly make it feel like it's your own.
The Plymouth magician did just that, and as Delane Cleveland explains, he fulfilled a childhood dream in the process.
So yeah, when I initially moved here, there was a doctor that had this home.
As the old saying goes, there's no place like home.
There's $1, $2, $3, $4 right there.
But this Plymouth home belongs to magician Matt Dunn.
As slowly as I can. I'll warn you, it happens very fast. Watch right at my fingertips here. There is 1, 2, 3, 4 20s.
And in the 3 years since he moved in,
the two-headed baby certainly attracts a lot of attention.
It's not outrageous to say that there's no place like this home.
I like to create different atmospheres that give me different brainstorming kinds of vibes.
Dunn is the entrepreneur behind a Halloween attraction known as Screamtown. And in this house, Halloween is a year-round theme.
That's probably the creepiest thing I have.
Thanks to one of the most oddball collections of memorabilia you could imagine.
People see me at these rummage sales and different garage sales and on Craigslist buying stuff, and they go, "What are you using this for?" And I say, no more questions.
The home and the items you find inside are a reflection of his personality. Yet if you think it's contained within the walls of his house, his backyard is another story altogether.
It's beautiful. I want to maintain its beauty, but I'm also always getting ideas, and I look back here and I was like, wow, this would be the ultimate place for a treehouse. So this is the main floor of the treehouse.
Using skills he acquired while putting together theater sets in high school,
I like it up here.
Dunn spent the past year building this massive treehouse on his property.
This is my favorite place.
It's 28 feet high, about 400 square feet, and it's bracketed to several trees that surround it.
People that come back here and see it, they go, "Hey, your kids must love this." I go, "Kids? I don't have any kids. What are you talking about? This is for me."
The treehouse now serves as part office, part man cave, which he'll use to develop new magic tricks and find inspiration for Screamtown.
My favorite time to come out here now is when it rains. It's just turn on a scary movie and sit in the treehouse and see if I can terrify myself.
A scary movie that he'll watch on a projection screen built behind the treehouse.
As silly as it might sound, I like to take things that I've dreamt about and try to make them real.
In Plymouth, Delane Cleveland, CCX News.
Dunn wouldn't reveal how much it cost to build the treehouse, only saying that it was in the thousands of dollars, but he did say that thriftiness came in handy. Very unique. Still ahead, a garden party in Brooklyn Park. We'll take you there next.
Plus, local players compete at a huge national volleyball tournament. We'll serve up the details.
But first, more showers on Friday, highs in the lower 70s. Well, who needs a gym membership when you can just garden?
That's right. A Brooklyn Park woman is flexing her muscles and producing some big blooms. Reporter Sonia Goins goes in the garden to show us how.
Real work in progress. It's never finished.
It doesn't take very long to realize that Stephanie Webster is very passionate about gardening.
Labor of love, absolutely.
She planted drought-resistant, bee-friendly plants around the border of her front yard.
These are the catnip, and these are some taller sedum, salvia. Ground covers are my favorite. because eventually they'll just spread.
She says it's low maintenance and withstands the salt from snowplows in the winter.
You do have to weed it, and you have to take care. Gardens don't look like gardens unless you're in them.
Stephanie spends a lot of time in her backyard.
This I call outdoor living.
And who could blame her? It's spectacular.
The sunshine, the bird songs, the butterflies that float by.
This is also where the Oak Grove elementary assistant principal gets away from it all.
This is how I wind after the school year, and I still need children to take care of.
The old-fashioned style garden pops with vibrant colors.
Impatiens, petunias, marigolds, sedums, hostas, ferns, very traditional plantings.
Each year she holds a garden party. This year's color theme is red.
That's kind of like my inspiration for the garden. So I get the color picked out, and then everything I do will be to support that.
And there's a secret garden that's already decked out in the party color. A decorative tree is the main focal point.
This tree is a splie where you grow it up against. See how it's flat and fans out?
Stephanie says the best thing about gardening is being able to relax and enjoy the very best of Mother Nature.
There's fruit of your labor every day. So you get a project, you get started, and it just keeps rolling. And at the end of the day, you go to bed and you're tired and you say, job well done. That's what I love about gardening the most.
In Brooklyn Park, Sonia Goins, CCX News.
And Stephanie literally does work out while she's in the garden. She likes to do squats and yoga poses while tending to her plants. Still ahead, a Brooklyn Park restaurant gets one truly super opportunity.
But first, using high-speed reels to haul in those fish is the topic for Terry Tuma's weekly fishing tip. John Jacobson has that next.
I'm John Jacobson with sports. Young volleyball players from around the country have invaded Minneapolis this week. The convention center is the site for the 2017 Junior National Championships. Minnesota select 12-1 with several players from the Northwest Metro facing Puget Sound from the Seattle area in the 12U pool play national division. Early point for Minnesota select there. They get into their offense. The set goes left side. Marley Hansen with a kill deep in the middle. Minnesota Select wins their first set, 25-17. Second set, Select jumps out to an early lead. They'll set outside to Morgan Ukestead for the kill and a quick 7-2 advantage. And serving helps build on that lead. Ukestead delivers an ace as Select takes a 14-4 lead. Good execution on this point. Avery Spratt with a dig, Stella Swenson the set, and Caitlin Vogt with a kill. Minnesota Select wins in 2. It's great to be at home for such a big tournament.
It's such a big deal for the city. It's a great thing for the sport of volleyball, but we love hosting. We have a great city to show off to the rest of the country, and I think Minneapolis is a really good host for the tournament. Minnesotans love their volleyball, and certainly when you look at participation numbers, volleyball has just exploded. But this is a great showcase to show kids all around the country just what a great sport it is and how competitive it is, even at the younger ages.
That Select team went 3-2 in pool play and lost their first 2 playoff round matches Thursday. Watch Friday on CCX News as Jason Melillo profiles a high school age team that's loaded with talent from our area. Wayzata's high school baseball team reached the state tournament in each of the past 2 seasons. Trojans are hoping to carry that success over to the summer again this year. After the rain passed Wednesday, it's Wayzata 1 hosting St. Louis Park in American Legion ball. SLP's Ian Sambo with a base hit in the second inning. Shea Carrick home. The Railcats up 3-0 at this point. But bottom of the second, Wayzata's Bobby Isbell's hit scores Nick Kay, and it's 3-1. Same inning, Thomas Grishala sends a shot to the left center field gap, and Isbell motors all the way around to score with a headfirst slide, and the lead is cut to 3-2. Wayzata's Jack Rothstein takes this pitch the other way for a hit. This will bring Will Oberg home, tying the score at 3 in the third inning. But St. Louis Park gets 3 runs in the fourth and 3 more in the sixth. Riley Dvorak with a run-scoring hit here puts the Railcats up 7-3. They go on to win it 9-3. Using high-speed reels for catching fish is the subject for this week's CCX Sports Fishing Tip. Here's Terry Tuma.
high-speed reels are becoming very popular and also efficient. Efficiency meaning, first of all, one is, we so often think high-speed reels are going to be for burning baits or fast fishing. That's not the case. And it is a factor under certain conditions with specific lures, but along with that too is that if you're out fishing and all of a sudden you get to the edge of this weed line or this piece of structure and you know there aren't any fish holding in that specific spot, then that fast retrieve to get that lure and bait back to the boat quickly is going to be a plus factor because you're going to be able to cast out much quicker. Then the other, and I think this is really important when you're fishing, especially plastics for bass, that these bass will sort of come towards you or towards the boat. And this is where you want to take up the slack line very fast to set the hook. Because if you set the hook on a line that's slack, you're not going to get a good hook set. Now, just to talk about specific retrieves, the Daiwa Zillion has now a retrieve of 40 inches per crank. Spinning reels, most of the Daiwa spinning reels, the high retrieve ones, are going to have about 39 inches of retrieve per crank of the handle or the reel spool itself. So these are something to consider for certain applications. The high-speed reel definitely are a factor in us catching fish.
Thanks, Terry. That's all for sports today. And Mike and Alex, back to you.
All right, John, thanks a lot. Coming up next, some really big restaurant news.
We'll tell you why this Brooklyn Park restaurant will be really super busy come Super Bowl time.
Well, finally, a super opportunity awaits a Brooklyn Park restaurant.
A Fat Chance has been named one of the official caterers and restaurants for Super Bowl 52 in Minneapolis. The announcement came after an application process that lasted 2 months. The restaurant, located right across from North Hennepin Community College, has been open for about a year now and has already made a name for itself. The manager tells us the Super Bowl name recognition will bring something he can't even imagine. In fact, the manager tells us that they do plan to open 2 new locations, one at the Hennepin Tech campus in Brooklyn Park and the other at the Eden Prairie campus. Good for them.
Very good, yeah.
That's all the news for us. Thanks so much for joining us.
And we leave you with the groovy sounds of High and Mighty performing last night at Maple Grove's Town Green. Enjoy.